So over the past couple days of Vlogmas, you may have noticed that I've done some filming in front of my yarn shelves. And if you've been watching the podcast for a while, you may know that you may have noticed that they look a little bit different than they used to. And that is because I did a major clean out of the loft and shelf reorganization. So for today's video, I figured that we would do a little shelf tour, and I would just go into detail about how I've set up my new organizing system. So here we go. So I am going to start left to right, top to bottom, and just work my way across. I'm not going to go through all of the yarn. I will show some of my stash yarn in a few other videos. But for now, we're just going to go through and I'm just going to show you what is where, and I'll show you a few of the little cubbies. So first off, we have this bin. Has a bunch of yarn scraps that are not fingering weight, so they're DK, worsted, chunky, and any self-striping leftovers, because I have a different scrappy project for my self-striping. This bin has all of the leftovers for any projects that I finished from the end of 2018 to now. When I was working on my Cozy Memories blanket, this is where I would keep that yarn. After I finish a project, it goes in here. I'm done with my Cozy Memories blanket, and my next blanket that I plan to work with this scrap yarn is the Pinwheel Scrap Blanket by Mina Knitting Expat, but it's going to be a while before I cast it on. But for now, everything just gets added to this bin. I really need to organize it. It's bursting full to the seams. This shelf and the one right here next to it are filled with finished objects that I can just grab and go when it's cold out, or that, you know, some of this I might want to give away as a gift at some point. So that's that. And then we move into these bins. So these bins I got on Amazon. I don't remember the name of them. I just looked for cubby cubes. So this bucket has a bunch of my sewing stuff. I have some sewing scraps in here. I have some jelly rolls that I plan to do something fun with, hopefully this year, possibly next year. One is a Halloween theme and one is a Valentine's Day theme. I got those on a D-stash. My label maker. I have this Q-snap frame for when I eventually get around to doing some cross stitching. This bucket is all Fable Fur. This is a blanket that I'm hoping to make for my front room. And this one is all the odds and ends knitting notions that are too big for my other organization system, which I'll show. But so it has like blocking pins, the lids are off, sock blockers, knitting rulers, pom-pom makers, that kind of stuff. So that stays down there. This, and as we go through, you'll notice that I have this garland hanging up. It's been a pain in the ass to keep up there. It falls constantly. So I got to figure out a better way to hang it. But these are the ornaments that I knit with my 2019 Indie Dyer Advent Calendar. And then up here are things like I made that sign. I have some pictures. This picture of an old picture of me and Jason when we first got married. I was so little and he was so little. My niece when she was little. An M that my mom bought me for my birthday. And just some things that people have sent me over the years through podcasting and some of my podcasting friends. This is Dolores. She's named after the main character on Westworld. Let's see what we got in here. These are giveaways. So this is everything that I have set aside There's a needle holder, notions pouch, a little bag, some other bags, all kinds of stuff in here. Those have all been set aside for giveaways. These are project bags that are not in use. I really tried to destash a lot of project bags because I have so many, and I need to destash some more, but some of those are hard to get rid of. I've got, this is some kitted up yarn. So it's yarn that is good for projects that I don't really have a pattern in mind for yet. So I've got quite a bit of that. And I hope I'm not making you guys dizzy, but this is kind of the nature of a shelf door. Here's some just little yarn bowls that I have. This one's a 3D printed yarn bowl that I got from Around the Table Yarns. I believe one of the owner's sons makes these on his 3D printer. I have one of these Yarnets and a little just notions box. These I'm gonna come back to. These are photo cases, and I'm gonna go in depth because this is how I store my needles and cables and notions, smaller notions. So once we get through the shells, I'm actually going to pull these out and go through these and show you how I organize all my needle sets, because I have 10 plus interchangeable needle sets that can be kind of hard to keep track of. So I have some notebooks here, things that I like to make lists on. I have my old dye book is right here, so still has all my old dye recipes just in case. I have my knitting books, my favorite patterns over here. Anytime I print a pattern, I don't print it very often, but when I do, I always save it just because I don't want to waste paper if I ever decide to print that pattern again. But mostly I just look at patterns on my iPad. I have this is my Addy Click, one of my Addy Click sets. I have two. This one is the 4-inch or the 3-inch set. 4-inch, I don't remember. It's a short set. The other one's a long set. And then my crochet hooks. I have, this is the only bin of yarn that doesn't have a plan. So out of all of my yarn stash, and in fact, actually, this does have a plan. I just haven't had a chance to put it in a bag together. I'm going to make the, I can't pronounce the shawl, but it's like a 3-color shawl out of that. But, so everything else in here are basically single skeins or skeins that I keep aside for contrasting colors for different projects. There's some hedgehog in here. So a lot of my friends roll their eyes when we're talking about casting on new projects, and I say, I actually don't have anything in my stash for that, and I need to buy more yarn. And it's because I keep very little. After I did my last de-stash, I don't keep a whole lot of yarn that I don't already plan to do something with. So everything that I have has a plan. Speaking of plans, here is an entire bin of self-striping yarn. So if you watch my old videos, you saw that I had like 4 shelves full of self-striping yarn. I got rid of a lot of it. I kept a lot of it, and it made its way to that bin. Here is some more yarn. Again, this is yarn that this needs to go on the self-striping. Oh, no, it's okay there. This is really yarns that are really good for gift knits. So I kind of set these aside so that way when I have somebody that has a gift or a birthday coming up or a holiday and I need something special to make for that person, I have yarn kitted up to make. So that's what those two are. Back up to the top here, I have this basket that has some tucked woolens, wool wash, some lotion, mostly just wool wash in here though. And then these are some cables that I need to put away. I already did that shelf. This is a bin full of dishcloths I made this year that I will be giving away for Christmas. You guys will see this later on during Vlogmas, because I will be weaving in all these ends and then packaging them up for Christmas gifts. This is more yarn that is kitted up, but all this stuff has plans. They're all kits. So like I plan to make the fox paws with this kit down here. I got that at Rhinebeck. There's a, I think it's called the Bluebell shawl with this from Knitting Expat. So if you have seen any of the smaller kits that I buy or yarn that I buy, this one is going to be good. This is going to be a shawl by, what is this? This is going to be a shawl by Fairy Little that she has, and I really look forward to knitting that one for a while. So all of this has a plan, mostly shawl stuff. Here's some feathers from my nephew. I hide them up here because he is obsessed with feathers. He carries one around every day, rubs it on his face, sleeps with it. And so I have a big pack of them because they get kind of gross and old and lost and torn, and we have to throw them away. So when he comes over, I always have backup feathers for him. So I just hide them down in here with some spinning fiber. So that's what this bucket is full of. Going over here, we have more spinning fiber. This is mostly bats. We have some more kits. This is last year's Artemis yarns advent. I actually bought it post-advent with some Christmas money, and I'm going to make a really beautiful shawl out of that. There's some sweater quantities in there. You might recognize some of these purchases from this year and last year. I dyed this up for the Zweig with Zweig, I don't know. But either way, I still plan to make that. Here is some yarn. These are some new acquisitions that I got just recently. They're 50 gram skeins from Legacy Fiber Arts. Since I'm making shorty socks, if a dyer offers 50 gram skeins, I now go with that option because it's cheaper and I can buy more yarn. And then these are all the yarns that I have set aside to make socks for Jason, my dad, and my stepdad. So that is their sock yarn bin whenever I get around to it. And we have a shelf of hand spun. And I actually have 2 shelves of hand spun. And pretty soon I'm going to need a 3rd shelf. None of this has plans. I do get these out as gifts once in a while. Eventually I'll get around to knitting this up. But for now, I consider spinning one hobby and knitting another hobby. I have considered selling some of my hand spun. I might possibly if it gets too overwhelming, but for now, I just kind of like seeing it all. Really, I need to turn the butts in so that I don't have all these tags hanging out, but I really like the look of them. Move up here, here's all my wonky magic cakes from all my fingering weight scraps. I mentioned earlier in the week that I plan to hold 2 magic cakes together to knit another happy scrappy blanket. So that is what those are in the wings for. And those are all the little bits and bobs, anything from 30 grams down to 1 yard that I had left over after adding them to my scrappy blankets. This, I need to hang this, but this is a little sock that Levi knit me, a sock ornament out of my Get It Together Levi colorway. I have this yarn bowl that Jason bought me from Wool Gathering like 4 years ago. It's not very deep, so it is kind of difficult to use for bigger projects, but when I have one-scape projects, every once in a while I'll pull it down and use it. And then I also have my whip jar. More hand spun. Pom-poms. I have so many pom-poms, so many fun pom-poms. I have a lot of nieces and nephews and cousins who have kids, and my cousins themselves like pom-pom hats. I mean, so I stocked up on those. And this yarn over here is where we're going to get into the serious yarn. So this bin is filled with Spin Cycle and Farmer's Daughter fibers. And I plan, there's some Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in here. I have lots of plans. Everything has a plan. There's a plan for everything. Just not enough time to knit it all. And here is some more spinning fiber. This is actually some alpaca fiber that I got. My dad, there is a alpaca farm down the street from his house, and he took me there, and I bought some yarn spun up there, but I also asked if they had any roving for sale, and these were her Miltons that they couldn't really spin into yarn themselves. So she said I was welcome to as much of it as I wanted, so that I could try it out, and I just never got around to it. This is more spinning fiber, mostly braids. There's a few bats in there. And Lobby Anime. So this is the Epic 7 skein fade bundle. I have so many fades from Lobby Anime. This whole bucket is Lobby Anime. So I've got like the Fantastic Stitch kit. I've got Vertices Unite. There's quite a few different shawls in here, mostly Stephen West shawls. The only thing I don't have a plan for is this 7 skein fade, and I'm just waiting for the right pattern to catch my eye for it. But since I like Lobby Anime so much, I was considering doing a blanket out of it. So, but we'll see. If I did, it would be a very, very, very special blanket. Then I have my advent calendar for Super Fun Yarn Co. It came and I added it to here. So this is what I pull from every day. I have my whips on these 2 shelves. You would have seen these in the Parade of Whips video that I did, that I'm going to be doing. So I believe that's going to be tomorrow's video. Then I have this basket that has hand balms and lotion bars in there. Jason always buys me a few for Christmas every year, so I think I might skip this year because I've got plenty to last me for the upcoming year, and then I'll just do a big stock up next year. I've got, this is filled, take out these Honeybee Knits pins, filled with enamel pins. I am an enamel pin junkie. Let's see if I can grab a few. There's Woolwich, Knit All the Things. There's an Ohio pin. There's a Gryffindor pin, or not Gryffindor, Hogwarts pin. We Will Survive the Darkness. There's all kinds of, there's a Gigi Made It We Knit 2 pin, Snitch. So I have Spin Cycle, so many pins. Every time I place a yarn order, if they have pins, I'm adding a pin to my order. So I think they're just fun, and I need to find a way to properly display them all. I think what I'm gonna do is have Jason hang a nail, and I'm gonna get one of those banners, and on this wall right here I'm gonna put like a pin wall up. So let's get past the whips because you've seen those. So now we move into random minis. So these are minis. This was from all the kits that Levi did. They're very, very special, and I want to find a project to do them all with. But these are all minis that I've collected over the years, either gifts, swaps, just random heels and toe colors, all kinds of different dyers. So that is fun and really good for contrasting heels, cuffs, and toes on socks. Here is more Spin Cycle, more Lobby Anime. Again, everything, this is a recent acquisition. This is the Do You Knit special colorway from Spin Cycle. Got lots of plans here. There's some Hue Loco. This is for the Slice of Light shawl. Lots of plans. This is Spring Floor. So then we get into knit picks. I buy pretty much every color of Felici every time it's released. Sometimes I buy single skeins, sometimes I buy double skeins. I have a lot of Fleechy. So those 2 bins are full of Fleechy. I'm pretty sure I have a 3rd bin somewhere. More Blobby Anime. This is the Bloom Your Heart Out kit, the Fading Point kit. There's some Lolo Did It in there. What else is in here? Oh, this. Okay, my friend Kim got this for me for my birthday last year. And I'm gonna make a shawl. I forget the name of it. I'll have to ask her, but this needs to be casted on probably like February, I think. This is gonna be on my needles very, very soon. Well, soonish, considering I have so much other stuff going on right now. But then we have, this is all the 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 gram scraps that I have. And I asked for some suggestions on Instagram on what you guys would make with this. Hopefully most of this will go all into the same project. And I think I've decided on what I'm going to make with this. You'll have to stay tuned in a different video to find out what that is, but I am going to do a video on what you can do with some of these larger scraps, so stay tuned for that during the rest of Vlogmas. Then I have some little mini gradient kit. This would be good for a 1 skein shawl, or pair it with like a black or dark gray. I'm gonna knit this cowl eventually. I've had that forever. I have the rest of this is all soft blanks. So many soft blanks from I have Stranded Dye Works, Gail's Art. I don't even know what all's in here. There's lots of stuff. This is Andre Sue Knits. They're little kitty cats, and I have her owl one. So many soft blanks. This are the FOs that I just showed earlier this week. I just kind of put them here for now until they go to their permanent homes. These are all Honeybee Knits colorway minis. This is what I have left to add to my my blanket. What is it called? Crap. My stained glass blanket. And then I have, I don't know if you can see, let me take this bucket out. This was made for me by a friend and used to go to all my shows and hang out all my shows for me, and now I have it hanging on my shelf. And then here's all my, it should be in here. Here's all of my swatches, my color swatches that my friend Jen knitted and crocheted. Every colorway that I've made, she knit and crocheted a swatch for me for my shop, and I want to put all these together and make something super special eventually. So that's why they're all kind of here. I think there's probably enough there. I could make one each of a knitting scrap blanket and a crochet blanket, but she did, her gauge is absolutely amazing. She did such a wonderful job, and I'm so thankful for her because I never would have been able to do it. Over here, I need to find somebody to take this off my hands, but first I gotta find a good way to ship it all. It's all beading stuff. It's stitch marker stuff to make stitch markers. I have so many little charms like milk bottles and I don't know, giant Gatsby like faces. There's little hearts. Some of this is from my Yarn and Month Club, duckies, just regular beads. So much stuff. So I need to figure that out. These are dishcloths that I knit. Some of them need their ends woven in. All of these will be gifted. I just ran out of room in this tote, which is why they're on that side. The rest are on that side of the shelf. And then all those scrubbies I made at the beginning of the year, those will be gifted too. Then we have some more self-striping. I forgot that this one existed over here. This is the stuff that I either didn't sell or decided not to sell when I had my self-striping bee stash. More yarn. There's beehive yarns, and I think the rest is primrose. These are all sweaters. And then more Felici. So I do have 3 buckets of Felici. And then of course over here I still have my little messy corner where I have my sewing machine. This is my backdrops for my photos and my interfacing stuff and some bags for my yarn organization. So that is pretty much it. So on this wall, Jason's got to hang this thing. It's a stitch marker case. He hasn't done that yet, but anyway, that is my shelf. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope the crinkling, the moving around so much, and me being out of breath wasn't a problem for you guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you have any questions or want to know more about anything, comment below. Have a good day. Okay, so I wanted to include in the video about the shelf tour, I also wanted to include how I organize my knitting needles and notions, because I have a lot of them. So I use these photo box cases. They are about $25 on Amazon. You can get these at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Michael's. They have some all clear ones that I think might be a little bit cheaper than these. I highly recommend looking for some sort of like craft store coupon when you buy these, because it's just a great item to use those coupons for. So this is what I use, and I have 3 different ones. So this particular case is just my needles. So these are all of my interchangeable needles, and I'm going to apologize for all the noise this is going to make because they are noisy. So I just have them separated by needle size. So this is my US 0 to 1.5, my US 2s, 3s, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And then at the back of this case, I have my Addy Click cables, because they work with all the Addy Click systems, so I don't have to worry about matching up a particular size, circumference with a specific needle and whatnot. But other than that, all of my other the only other thing in this box besides my needles are my Addy Click cables. So let me show you the next box. These are the interchangeable cables for the rest of my needle sets. And also I'm going to apologize because I am losing my lighting. It gets dark super early here, so there's going to be lots of shadows. But okay, so in here I have it separated by brand and then the length of the cables. So I have my Diet Craft 14, 18, and 22 inches. Their cable lengths are a little bit weird because they take into account the length of the needle on top of the cable. So 14, I have 5-inch needle tips, so this would be a size 24 cable, this would be a size 28, and this would be a size 42, and so on and so forth. I have my signature cables. Now I do have, for signature, I also have my I have all of my sizes, because the ends of the signatures are different depending on what size needle you're using. I just have them all together in the same box, and then I just look for the one I need. I have my Hiya sock cables, my Knitter's Prize cables, my 9, 11, 24, 30, and 50-inch length. And yes, I do use my 50-inch because I have a 50 to 55-inch bust, and I use them to try on my knitting. And then I have my Xiaogu cables here. So this box is strictly cables for my interchangeable sets. And then the third and last box that I have has a good mix of stuff in here. So this is where I store all of my knitting needles that are fixed or DPNs. So as you can see, these ones are fixed. I have some DPN sets in here. And then I sort them by size. So I have US 1s, US 1.5s. I also put the millimeters on here because sometimes when I'm reading patterns, most of the time they'll give you the US, but I actually, for when it comes to socks, I go by millimeters for my sock needles. I don't go by the 1.5, 2, or 1s, because this number differs between brands. So for example, I think that a Addy size 2.5 millimeter, so an Addy 1.5, 2.5 millimeter is different from a ChowGoo US 1.5, and it's like something weird. So like I think actually the Addy is a US 1 for 2.5 millimeter, but for ChowGoo it's a US 1.5. So it can, when you get down to the smaller needle sizes, it can differ by brand. So I always go by the millimeter on the smaller sizes. Then I have my US 3 through size 8. I don't have any knitting needles that are fixed that are over a size 8, so that's where I stopped. And then I have my notions. So I have tape measures, progress keepers, / overfill for my tape measures because I have a ton of tape measures in here. I recently reorganized my loft and I found a bunch of them, so I'm stocked up on those for quite a while. I have my cable holders, which are the fun things that your interchangeable sets come with. They're the things that go on the end of your cables to keep your stitches from sliding off. The marking tools, so this has pens, pencils, highlighters, Sharpies, and some pattern markers like stickers, highlighter tape, washi tape. I have a ton of scissors, so I bought this pack of scissors off of Amazon. I think it was $10 for like something crazy like 20 or 30 scissors. And this pair hasn't been broken in yet, but they're just foldable. They're really nice for gifts, and they're really nice to have around the house. So that one was being kind of a pain, but they basically just slide together and they're super easy to use. So since these can't really be collapsed because they might be broken, I'll just trade these for these. They were cheap, and they came in one pack. You got 4 different colors. You got the silver, you got blue, pink, and red. Again, I just got those off of Amazon. I have, these are my other random notions. So I have needle gauges, I have darning needles, row counters, cable needles, all kinds of stuff. There's some stitch markers in there. And then I have this one, which is just random notions. So there's some cable needles. I have some different notions pouches in here. So whenever I start a new project, I just come in here and grab a notions pouch and I rotate through them. So that's it. So that is how I organize my smaller notions and my needles. This has been an absolute lifesaver for my loft space. I found that one of the reasons my loft got so crazy messy in the first place was because I didn't have a good place to store all the small stuff, and it just became overwhelming to have to put that away. So ever since I've done this, every week or two I just go through and clean out all my project bags, and it takes me like 10 minutes to put away the yarn and all the needles, and then I never have to like search and dig and dig and dig and make a bigger mess for whatever cable or needle or whatever the case is that I might need. Also, you might have noticed over in this corner there is a case. That is where I store all my stitch markers. Let me go ahead and pull it up and I will show you. This was actually what my Jimmy Bean Wool advent calendar came in last year. And I saved it because how could you not? And it's a magnetic board with these magnetic tins. They have magnets on the bottom. And you can actually find these at IKEA, Amazon, and some certain craft stores have these. But it has been a lifesaver. I have all my light bulb stitch markers in here. So I basically just went through and kind of sorted through my different types of stitch markers. Here's some of my favorite progress keepers. And I have, as you can tell, I have a lot of empty spaces, a lot more room to grow if I want. But it is extremely heavy, but with some good support. You can hang this on the wall, and that is the plan. I'm hoping Jason will hang this soon. So super handy. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my shelf tour and seeing kind of how I reorganized everything. It has been a lifesaver to my craft space, and it has taken off some of the anxiety about having such a mess up here, so I can craft and not feel guilty or anxious about it. So I hope you liked it, and have a great day.